for a crook between my eyes. I got a job to do and damn, I'm gon' thrive. My mission on earth is greater than you and I. Cause everybody wants the sunshine. Cause they think everything's gonna be fine. Yeah. Everybody wants the sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? I go by the name of Shotty. If you know what time it is on your dial, it's 9:30 on the Eastern Standard Dial. Blah, my bad. And it's time for Minority News is Everything. I go by the name of Shotty, where we try to inform, educate, and knowledge. My man Mike Freezy, what is going on in the beat? You know what's going on? So y'all already know what it is. We're waiting for my mentor, my good man, my friend, El Capitan, the ambassador, to get in here. Let me know when he's going in here, and then we are going to get into it as we do every Thursday. We try to give you knowledge is key, knowledge is power. Be on the lookout. September 27th, 2020. Shotty's second album, The 27 Club, will be out on all platforms, all streaming services, and I have a great September surprise for you. A lot of time, a lot of months, a lot of preparation, and it's going to be something special. I assure you, it's something you don't. Without further ado, with it, we're going to have a good time. We're going to enjoy ourselves because this is what we're here to do. And I'm looking forward to it. If you didn't know, the first couple of days, we didn't do Beyond the Sheets. We have recently done the political hip-hop show last night, which is the convention show, which if you did not pay attention, you should go and watch that show. I promise you, it's very informational, very additional. Again, as always, we are brought to you by Happy Spoon Edibles. Always a good spoonful in every edible. Shout out to Kev. And my man is in the building, so if you know what time it is, it's about to get into, it is about to be time for Knowledge is Key. Going on?
What up, bro?
Peace.
I'm good, man. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm good. Yo, I can't hear you as well this time.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you good. I'm good. Back to the So, man, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Good.
Yeah, it's sunny, hot.
Yeah, man. Yo, it was a beautiful day over here in the East Coast. I can't even lie, man. It was a beautiful day. I took a couple of nature walks, and it was great, man. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, it's been a heat wave out here in LA.
Yeah, honestly, we just finished getting that wave for about 3 weeks. So I'm honestly just getting on the back end of that. So blessings to you on that because it was a struggle over here to say the least.
Stay hydrated.
Yes, very much so. Water is key. So let's just get right on into it. So, one of the things that we have always each week that we try to do is we try to bring you guys 4 different topics of conversation that my mentor gives us a little bit of enlightenment on and allows me to be the canvas of growing and mental understanding. But we also try to help all of those as well. But you need somebody to be willing and open and honest to be able to do these things. And I have no problem doing it because of a great mentor such as my man El Capitan. So the first one we are going to do is, should we as Black people vote or build our own solutions in this election?
That's I hate politics, man.
I know, but at the same time, it's convention week, it's relevant, and, your words, I know, you're just a very humble man, but man, King, your words really speak volumes on a lot of things, and I had to get your ideology on this topic.
I'm never going to tell nobody to not vote. I would say vote for who you please. I would say study who you're going to vote for. One thing about voting for me is if you don't have no money behind who you voting for, you sit back and watch the show, man. Get ready to tune in. Because politics is a big money game, you know what I'm saying? So you have to, which is why the LGBT community gets what they need and other get what they need because they put their money behind their candidates and behind their. So as we talk about politics with Black people, we also have to talk about group economics. We also have to talk about our true identity so we can find our freedom. These are things that really exist. So just to go further than politics, because voting is one thing, but we've seen that we can have the popular vote and things can still go. I would say be building your own with find rights of what the law is. Just get prepared for the show. Me personally, I don't believe there's going to be an election. So let's just keep that here. Watch. We'll see. Watch.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. It's not that I haven't had that on the brain. It's just I haven't been cognitive enough to really say it, but I don't disagree with one bit. So you talked about some other things in that, and you talked about I forget what you just said, but it was like really important. You were talking about two different things. You were talking about say it.
PM Joey, talking to Joey down there. No, I spoke about group economics. I spoke about
that's what I meant. That's what I wanted to touch on. Can you please touch on what group economics means? Because for a lot of us who watch the show, and what I'm learning is we don't understand the full knowledge of group economics. We might think we have an idea on it, but we really genuinely do not understand what group economics is. So break that down a little bit of insight for us.
So I'll break it down just in a simple example. Economics, take 10 family members. So most of us have relatives, including ourselves. So that's 10 people, and we're all paying rent in 10 different locations. So let's just say rent is $1,000. That's just being on a small end because there's not many places where rent is $1,000. So say we're taking $10,000 a month and we're just paying rent. Then you have utilities, you have a car note, you have insurance, you have food, you have just necessities. So let's just say we're spending $20,000 a month in expenses. So let's say that we figured out who has good credit, and we decided to get a house that 5 rooms.
Yep.
We to put the house in the person's name who has the good credit, or the person's names who have multiple lines, and then we get a mortgage and we split that up. We don't quit our jobs. We don't stop our income. What we do is decrease our expenses. So now we kind of consolidate our expenses and we bring them to one, because now there's only one rent that has to be paid, one electric bill, one. It's about bringing as many people as you can to be one body. You know what I'm saying? So now, where our expenses may be, let's say $5,000 a month now, opposed to what we were spending $20,000, we now have a net profit of $15,000. Now we save that for 10 to 12 months. We have over $150,000 plus the good credit. And if you don't have good credit, if you got good enough credit to get a 4-bedroom house, it's about sacrificing so that 10 people can live in that house, get there, become humble, get out of that personal need of my own space, because that's what we're doing. We're funneling a lot of money out for personal temporary needs, which are basically wants, they're not needs. And it's becoming to get everybody out of debt. So now, say there's just $5,000 on those things, and then we figure out, all right, what bills are you paying? What debt? Now, say even if we had another $5,000 worth of debt, we still accrue $10,000 profit. I said $20,000. We're taking $5,000 of our expenses now, and then $5,000 of our debt. We still get to put $10,000 to the side, not including if we have businesses that are already running, or if we have other side hustles or things like that. This is just saying, literally, if you were bringing $1,000 home per person, and it was 10 people. So that it was like that.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, because I really didn't know. I didn't know that to the T that you just broke it down. But that's very crucial, especially up here in the Northeast, where mortgages are extremely low. I mean, historically low than they have ever been. So that is something very interesting to take heed of. If anybody that's interested or wanting to make a market move here in the Northeast or wherever you're at, it's very important to pay attention to these things, especially what El Capitan just broke down to you guys, because instead of getting in debt and dealing with it so many different ways, you can deal with it consolidated and do it as a family or as a unit.
Yeah. And then what you do is, at least at the end of everything, like say everybody moved on to wherever they were going, you still have a house that you could either sell and split up the money 10 ways, or you look after year 1 and we save $120,000. Since it's 10 of us, 5 of us are going to move to the second house, and 5 of us are going to stay here. And we got a second house, and we're going to put that under the, you know what I mean? Because a lot of houses that you can take out, if you renegotiate refinance it, you could take out, a certain amount of money to fix it up, or if it doesn't need to be fixed up, you can go get another property. So with that next property,
Interesting. I did not. That is interesting.
Yeah, so let's say by year 2, you got $240,000 saved plus 2 properties. So if you got a 5-year plan, you know what I'm saying, you'll roughly have at least $500,000 saved. That's hard cash. Plus everybody got a debt, and you have 10 lines of credit in a 5-year span. But you have to get on the all money and got like seriously. No, you got to cook all your meals. We're not making no moves unless everybody's going in. It's a business move. Like all those, like one band, one sound, like just like the Transformers come together and become Voltron. That's what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out of your own way of, you know, like I said, your personal space or having too many vices. Like what we had to do, like my roommate and I came together because we couldn't get 10, but we got 2, and 2 became one person. And we just both like are pro cannabis. So that's our one thing that we share together. But everything else is business. I cook all our meals. Everything that we do is all just one. Both ain't doing it, then we ain't.
Very crucial. I appreciate you breaking that down. So the other one that I wanted to really get into that I thought was very crucial. Hold on, click back on here. So the second one that I wanted to give you is self-love. We talk about that a lot on here. We stressed that a couple weeks in a row. But the biggest thing that I want you to elaborate on this next dissertation that you're going to give us is self-worth, and how we should know what our self-worth is, and how do you begin to start that journey if you're, say, a beginner, and how are you somebody that you're very, you're very self-aware, but you don't know what self-worth is. So I want you to break that down a little bit, because I think it's so crucial, especially in the time and the essence of in the life that we're living. The climate, I just feel, really calls for it. So please, the floor is yours.
Right. Self-worth to me it's literally what you equate to in a non-monetary form. It's broken down in many ways. One of the biggest ways that I like to look at it is how many people's lives that you change, how many people's lives that you influence, but them to be lights to other people in darkness. It's a road. Peace, DJ. DJ Mighty. Why? Peace, man. But it's about taking a road, man, and understanding where you play a part. Like when you sit there and sit there and look at what you hate about the world or what you dislike, and about the environment that you're in, you got to literally dissect. I always say this: you're playing a part in that problem, or when you're influencing your lifestyle to where it's becoming an issue. It may be stress. It may become it's just consuming too much of your life. You got to get out of that, and you have to be plan. Writing things down is a way for you to find your self-worth, because you got to find your creativity, you got to find your passion, you got to find what you've been put on this earth for, so you can start getting that currency. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because more than certain, I know times have changed from thousands of years. So capitalism coming in and us living in a different world that wasn't designed for us to live in the first place in this manner, but you adapt. And with you adapting, then you find a way to inspire, you find a way to help, you find a way to assist other people find their thing. You know what I'm saying? And it lights a fire to your thing even more. It makes it bigger. It's like lighter fluid. The bigger you can make other people by finding their self, and I'm not saying big as a star, the bigger you have self-worth, you feel full, you feel whole. You don't have to tear down other people. You'll begin to look at people who are tearing down other people. Like I always say, people make fun of the shoes that they're wearing. When you're full and when you have enough worth, you don't have to tear somebody down and make them less worth than what they already are. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that assists to not have self-worth is always the fact of compliments. You know what I'm saying? When people are shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm okay.
I need you to repeat that last 2 sentences, because your volume came off, your audio came off a little bit.
Oh, my bad. Is it better?
No, it's okay. I just want you to make sure that we give it to the audience.
Oh, no, I was saying that, have you ever, paid a compliment to other people who negate the compliment? You know what I'm saying? They kind of make your compliment a backhand compliment by diluting what you said. So you would say, you look very nice today, or you're very beautiful. And they're like, well, I'm okay. Oh, my freckles or this ugly thing, like that's a nice dress. Oh, this ugly. Like it's like, yo, you sending a negative vibration to the positive vibration and that I'm sending, instead of hitting it with a positive vibration and let that lead to you complimenting somebody, or let that lead to you going from that compliment to doing something great at work or something great at your business. But you got to take all your low wins, because that's how you build your self-worth up. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize how blessed you are. World of people in a world of situations that are that are not always a blessing, and people are not always you. Even with whatever may be as little to you is something super outrageous to somebody else who don't have nothing. You know, so that's another way to find your self-worth, because you got to always remind yourself somebody is doing worse than what you're doing. Take a ride down, reality lane. Like out here, it's Skid Row in DC. It's plenty of places where you could just take a ride, man. You could see families, young people out there panhandling, young people out there homeless. The whole family, you see the whole living room set in the park. You know what I'm saying? And they living in a tent. So with that being said, you know what I mean? It's easy to find yourself worth, but it's also easy to be influenced and be depressed by looking in a where all they're putting out is the negative side of things.
Very much so. Thank you so much for elaborating on it. That was something that I was really genuinely looking forward to as far as questioning this week with you, because I thought it was really important that we share that.
So I think if we get a better image, that's why going into your history is good too, because you need to know where you come from. You know what I'm saying? You need to know that it goes deeper.
Very much so.
Like that's what I'm saying. The only thing that we get is come from slavery. You're nothing but a nigga. You're nothing but this. It's all negative, and you go do something to figure out why they really hiding. I mean, in any book you pick, they pretty much hiding. You know, I mean, it's pretty much fighting the narrative of the story. You know that they've been telling. They're telling you why they're hiding it. You know, in this knowledge that you can find on your own.
Man. I mean, I couldn't ask you to put it up better any more than that, man. That was beautiful. Thank you. So the next one we're going to get into is you speak on, one of the things that we talked about a lot is last week, and it really hit home for me. You talked about how, you have family members that are like, why don't you cut your hair? And you're like, I could be that guy with the waves and the braids, and, making sure everything is straight. But, you speak on physical appearance being a choice. Why did you decide to grow your roots, not only for your hair, but also for mental and spiritual needs? Why did you grow those and find more internal love and motivation internally instead of externally?
Because I want to learn how to love, or I wanted to learn how to love. I want to have some type of family of my own one day, and I'm very very big on having a child. I only really want one, but I'll take two. But I'm very big on not having a child until the level of understanding. One, with whomever the mother is, needs to understand that I will not confide to any system that an oppressor has given. I will not celebrate any tradition that an oppressor has given. So that's the first thing, just by being a leader of my family. Second thing is I want my child to be able to be born and be able to claim their nationality at birth, understanding that the birth certificate is what it is, the social security number is what it is, and me being able to dissect that. I don't want to give up too much here, but me being able to break that down and why that is. Next thing is with marriage, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to have a marriage license. See, all these things are subjective to.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And we've never discussed that, but that is something that I've always, like, in the past 2 years, I've stressed that I don't think I need a government form to show me that we love or we need each other. If that's the case, put me on your health insurance. If that's the case, put me on your life insurance policy. If you want to show me that you adore me, you care about me, you love me, that to me shows more in that regard than putting a piece of paper telling me that if we go our separate ways, I have to pay you a certain amount. That's a transaction. It's not right.
Even with that, can you hear me?
A little bit more.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So even with that, even to go deeper than that, see, marriage, whenever you put licenses on things, like you're making it a corporation. Like you're corporatalizing things, and I don't want my life to be like that. I don't want it to seem like a business. I want to do business. So let's create businesses, but I want to lead whoever is with me to freedom just as well. You know what I'm saying? I want them to claim their nationality. You know, if they don't already know it, I want them to know why these things are put in position and stuff like that. But like I told you before, man, even in a relationship with me, I try to figure out what we're building from the gate. So I'm doing after year one, that honeymoon, yeah, dates, blah 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 blah. That's strictly for the woman because I'm on my grind. You know what I'm saying? I'm on pace.
Yes.
You got to figure out how you can fit in and how we can, you know what I'm saying, fit in and then keep going forward and make this thing realistic. So after year one, I'm trying to figure out like, yo, what are you trying to do? This is what I'm trying to do. How do you see yourself fitting in? This is what I'm thinking how you could fit in. But you know what I'm saying? Like these are the type things. Okay, how are you spending your money? You know what I'm saying? How are you spending your time? Are you wasting your time? Are you doing things constructive to building you where you see yourself in 10 years? Because we all had this little childhood dream fantasy world. Oh, once I get 30, I'm gonna have a big house. I'll have this car, and my bank account would be this. But none of that shit happens until you build it and build your life to be like that. So
Very
I
much so.
so within that being said, I had to find that self-love and go deep inside myself and find that. So once, like I said, I would be educated enough and to be able to say that I'm a king and be a man. I wanted to have some type of empire for my child to fall into, for me to claim that royalty, because we all say kings and queens, but what we all don't realize is the only thing we have is the potential to be that. Yes, we all have the potential, kings, queens, gods, goddesses, but you got to claim that. And then once you claim that, you got to put it into fruition. You can't just say it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your
So let
whole
me ask you something. What is the key change between potential and being?
action.
So someone just gave us a question. My boy, one of my producers and makers is Daniel Hakar. He
Right.
asked, "How does self-love relate to said success?"
Well, I don't know what said success really does for me, but self-love, it leads to me what ultimate success is, and it's freedom, peace, wealth, health, knowledge. Self-love, I had to go find all this to be able to love myself, because there was things about myself that I hated. And there was times in my life where I was doing things to please other people. But when I got the self-love, which is why you said I grew my hair or my appearance and things like that, I did that to honor my ancestors. I did that to look like confidence when I walk in a room. When I walk in a room now, I look interesting. Not that I didn't before, but I look like shit. Ain't no way he going to a 9 to 5. What does he do? You know what I'm saying? Why is he doing this and it's okay? Like, I don't just get my hair done, you know what I'm saying, all week or every day and let somebody, but I know the power in the sun illuminating my body, and it allows my hair to grow, which is why I look like a palm tree standing straight. You know what I'm saying? If I start, if my hair grows up and the palm tree goes up and then it falls over, so I'm nothing more than a plant. And I know that by, again, acquiring knowledge. When you're on a quest for truth and growth, that's like the ultimate love, because it's going to be pleasant. It's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people leave tough love out of love, and it backs people up a lot. When you bring truth to a lot of people, they want it to be sugar coated and soft.
Truth brings a lot of uncomfortability.
Right. And see, a lot of people can't take that, and they misjudge that love, because you can lie to somebody, and yeah, you soften the blow, and what you do is think you're protecting them, but the truth gonna come out regardless. And the best thing to do is be able to provide them with that. So again, when it leads back to my quest on self-love, it always leads to a woman, to a child, or women, however my life goes, you feel me, and a child. Where it literally says, you know, I have enough within me to give. I could give Shotty some love, and every stranger that comes past my way, and anybody else that needs me at that moment. I'm here to heal. I'm here to listen. I'm here to offer advice if needed. But I can't spread myself so thin if I'm full. You know, I know when to say no when it starts getting into my world, because I self-evaluate. I also know when to tell people no now. I also know if I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. You know, and it's okay not to want to do stuff. It's okay that I can't help. Sometimes the best help you can do is allow somebody the right to go through what they need to go through so they can get there. That way you know that they're serious. That is help.
Can you repeat that? Because I mean, I know I ask you to do this a lot, and I greatly appreciate when you do. But I think there's sometimes where you hit a nail on the coffin so good, and it's just sometimes the point needs to be reassured. Can you please say that again?
I said sometimes the best help is letting somebody, you know, go through whatever struggle that they need to go through, you know, so you can then see how serious they are to help them. And but you know, a lot of times when you step in to be Superman or Superwoman every single time, then you enable people to, you know, and you keep them stagnant instead of allowing them to grow. Struggle gonna always bring growth. Pain gonna always bring growth. You know, that's like that's why we need
Very
the
much so.
rain. You know, the sun balances with the rain, and that's how things grow. And yeah, I'm Shadi will tell you, and I know you probably just checking me out tonight, but a big part of self love is being able, like I said, you go to the mirror first, so that way you'll be able to accept people criticizing you because you become humble. You know what I'm saying? You strip yourself for the pride and you strip yourself for the ego because love don't have those things. You know what I'm saying? That's not love. So you don't have to worry about that when you have self love. And when somebody's giving you, you know, their opinion about something, you could take heed to it. Sometimes it's just worthy of you applying it, but it's always worthy of you listening, and that comes with, you know, being able to be patient. That comes with, you know, those are attributes to self-love and love in general. It is patient, it is understanding, you know, sometimes it is vital, sometimes it is hostile. um but yeah, man, I think, did we cover that one good enough?
Yeah, man, it was great. It was
All right.
phenomenal. I just really appreciate, sometimes, I want the group that's listening now and the group that will listen later on
Mhm.
in the weekend. I want to make sure that there's certain points that we address on this show that I just think are very crucial and that I think that we have to elaborate on just a little bit more, just because, you know, especially where I'm at right now. I just think,
Mhm.
and where we are in life right now, I think it's important to really have these questions that you kind of draw to me and you ask to me,
Mhm.
because for a lot of us, it's a point of evolution. It's a point of maturation, and maturation is hard. And for a lot of us who are going in for maturation from late 20s to early 30s, it is a process of reality, realization,
Right.
honesty, open, um, unfortunateness for some of us, you know what I mean, to realize where you're at. But it's, to me, a great, like, I'm 27, so it's 3 years away from me to have I got 3 years away from having a reset. And I
Right.
look at it as like, I look at it as in my own timetable, I want to see where I'm at in 3 years after I've made these developments that I've tried to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like I've tried to keep that up. So one of the biggest things that I think that we hit on this show that I'm learning from others is that we really educate people who really don't want to have the conversation with people on a regular basis that we do. I think it's really, really important that we do, because we allow that conversation to happen and it allows others to see themselves through what I'm going through. And I think it's so important. So thank you for repeating that. You
No
answered that
problem.
perfectly. We have another question from Daniel.
Okay.
Can you love others before you know how to love yourself? Great question.
Yeah, I especially believe that as a child. I think that's, you know, I think going through the years of our lives, we get so distracted and so drowned with different emotions and things that do have a play in our emotions with food and different chemicals and things like that that pulls us away from being pure. But what I do uh, also think is you can't love somebody in its entirety, though. You can't love somebody like people say, "I love you to death." I don't think you can all. I don't think you can fully love somebody totally unconditional without no strings. You know, no nothing. Without
I agree with
completely
that.
loving
I
yourself,
agree with
because within somewhere you're gonna need that love back.
that.
I really feel like once you completely love yourself, you don't even need. It doesn't matter if they love you or not. Like, you just got
Yeah.
love. It's
and,
your.
and and I'm learning this too. Like one of the things that I've always had a problem with, right, is always like whenever I've met somebody or a female or something like that, I've always like given off like, damn, I really want to hit on you. And so over the past like 6 months, I've really tried my best to be like, you know what? Let me just learn how to be somebody's friend, because I didn't because I'm as I'm learning, from our conversations and just from reading and taking my time. I'm reading this book called The Monk and the Riddler right now, which
The
is
monk
really
and the
great.
Richter.
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna get that.
it's a very good book, and I'm also reading this one right here. So I've been reading a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm really fascinated with right now is for myself is like I spent so much time trying to find a second half, but I didn't look at myself and was like, am I the guy a second half would want? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's something that I can't lie. It was an extremely humbling point to get to, because you realize when you answer that question truthfully, you're not. And so when you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, what do we need to work on?
Right.
And I think the mirror conversation that you say is important, but I also want to express add to that, that in my journey, it's learned that it's layers. Because me looking at the mirror was one hard part.
Right.
Me saying what I needed to say in that mirror and talk to myself was another hard part. Because it took me a while to get to just the mirror. And then it took me another long time to get to the point of like, hey, you need to work on this. You're not the best at this. You have flaws in this area. But at the same time, like you said, it gives you relevance and it gives you peace and serenity within, because if someone says something to you, you're at the point of now like, hey, like it is what it is. So now I use that and I approach that with, you know, the female perspective, because I realize like I need to realize how to be somebody's friend if I'm going to be somebody's partner. And I think a lot of times as guys in our, at least in my generation, we're so quick and so prone to be like, I want a bone, I want a bone, I want to get you in bed, I want my numbers, I want my stats. And in reality, we have our ideology of what our ideal woman is. And it took me a minute to sit back and realize, am I somebody's ideal man?
Right.
Man. And it really hit me for a second, like, I'm not.
Right. Well, yeah. So what's the question?
So the question is when you're in a blessed place, how can you keep your heart not searching for darkness?
Not searching for
darkness.
Darkness. Okay.
Because, you know, as human beings, we're always prone to go left. And when I say left, the negative side of the spectrum. We never look at the glass half full. We look at it as half empty. So how, you know, when you are in a blessed place, how can you keep your heart and your mind in that place to continue to rise on this evolution that we're talking about, instead of taking these pitfall steps back? And if you have these stepfalls and these pitfalls, right, how can you keep yourself and kind of get yourself from and snap yourself into it?
Okay, so first thing is, if you have the pitfalls, you just realize that everybody is human. So you're gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fall off the wagon. That's cool. But it can only be a mistake one time anyway. So either it's a mistake or then it becomes a habit or a pattern. Then that's something that you got to check yourself on. Now, if you're in a blessed place, then you understand what it took to get to that blessed place. So it's very easy to stay in that blessed place, because you begin to look at even the problems as it was a lesson, it was a message in why that had happened immediately.
But I want you to express that, to address that in a different way, because I agree with you on that. But what if you're somebody that you've been blessed, but it takes you a minute to realize it? Because a lot of us, and what I'm learning is in a lot of ways, there was a lot of times I knew I was blessed and I didn't realize until after the fact. Right. And so I think it's very important to that we realize to enjoy and appreciate that moment. So how do you know how do you savor the moment? How do you appreciate it?
By keeping my phone out of it most times, by keeping other people out of it. A lot of my moments are for myself. I've been like that for a long time. Like when I go somewhere, I'll get a picture or two, you know, literally for picture's sake, to promote clothes. Or a lot of times when I'm in the moment, like I told you before, if I'm walking the dog, it ain't nobody's business. If I'm walking in nature, it's nobody's business unless that's my persona. Like if I'm about to go make money off of that, if I'm going to learn how to brand that or something. But a lot of things for me, I keep to myself, because I don't want to get lost in social media, or I don't want to get lost in the world dictating who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's a big piece. That's a big piece in itself, to finding your blessings, because what's for you is for you. Like I don't live life for other people. I live life to get all that's for me, so I can be able to show other people how to get what's for them, and for me able to figure out, like, all right, what's for me to keep and what's for me to give away. You know, some of my blessings are just being able to bless other people with things that are better for them than are for me. Like that situation or that blessing might not have been for me. But within that blessing, me giving it away became a blessing, because, you know what I'm saying, it showed me like little things, like walking around the store today. It was a homeless lady in the store. She just followed me around the store, and we figured out what we can get her, because it was like 8:45 in the morning. She's homeless. She's talking about fish in the seafood department. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, when you're on your level of peace and calmness and moving in love, you snapping like, yo, get away from me. Why are you following me? You know what I'm saying? But me, it's like,
very much so.
Let's just figure out what's available. So they got a Starbucks in here. All right, let's go to the breakfast sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? All right, boom. Get her a breakfast sandwich, get her some water, and that was me. That I handled that moment, and I was a blessing. You know what I mean, for somebody else. But it was just a test because my next blessing coming. You know what I'm saying? In whatever form it is, and whatever I'm asking for. That's a big part in being blessed, because when you pray or when you ask for stuff or when you plan, you don't want to block that blessing. You know what I'm saying, by putting that bad aura around you or having that in you. You know what I mean? Your mouth, you know, what you saying, the message that you putting out there can block a big ass blessing that was coming your way, or little situations like that where it's something small, man. I had $10 in my pocket. Give her five. It's cool. 50 will come back. 500 will come back. 5 million, whatever. You know, or 5 million blessings. Somebody gonna look out for me. It just, that's the way the world goes. Getting to that level of being a blessing, man, you got to give to receive. You know what I mean? So just become a person. If you don't know where to start, give. Give what you can too. Like, it ain't about just filling up the basket in ties. It's about giving your time, giving your love. If it's babysitting your niece or your nephew, if it's you know, staying up extra hours with somebody that's, you know, trying to get an idea or work on a proposal, or extra hours, you know, you don't know how to engineer, but your boy in the studio and it's him. Just go. He'll teach you how to move, to press the button so he can record. But those are blessings, you know what I'm saying? Those are ways to bless people. And I always talk about the knowledge, like sharing books, sharing information, you know, for you to get to a level of peace. That's all we really want anyway, is peace and happiness, stability. Even when you don't want to be stagnant, you want to continue to build. But everybody wants it to the point where if you had children, or if you plan on having children, that you just want to have time to teach your children and love on your children and give them things that you didn't get in your childhood, which is why I wait so long. Like, I don't want to have my child until I can have a child on purpose, to know that I'm not breeding them into poverty. I'm not breeding them into no anger or anguish. I'm not breeding them into nothing but love, knowledge, understanding, and freedom. You know what I'm saying? No debt, none of that. Ain't gonna be no bills in my child's name. None of that shit that we, you know, found as a defense mechanism to put it in stand-up comedy. But that shit ain't funny. You know what I'm saying? For us to be at that level of poverty, we got to put bills in our children's name. You know? So I think about all that stuff. So I'm preparing now on how to be with my family, with total strangers, and with my family that are living now. And like I always tell you, um, a big test and testimony to me doing well, and confirmation, I guess that's a better word, is the children that are in my life, how they treat me. You know what I mean? Because that's the purest connection that you're going to have. So how children really speak to me, how they respect me, how they come to me for certain things, or speak about me when I'm not around, is letting me know that I'm in.
All right. Well, boss, as you know now, we are. I wanted to make sure that our last couple of shows have been edited volume-wise and correctly. But this weekend, officially, we are going to be on all platforms. I will give you that information tomorrow evening, so you can send it out to your compadres and your comrades. But as always, I thank you so much, boss. I appreciate you as a mentor. Honest to God, Lord knows, you know, there's a reason why I'm here, and the reason why we're here, and I can't tell you how much it's a blessing for me to go through.
Man, me too, man. I appreciate it. Every week I appreciate it, because I wouldn't do this if it was just me. I ain't gonna lie. And I know that it's something that should be done, because I know people want to hear from me, but I have it in my own mind how I want to put it out there, and you know what I want to show, because I don't want it to feel scripted and nothing. But I don't want to be the person holding the camera and all that. You know, I'm always looking to build a team, and my partner always looking to build a team. So we would love for a cameraman to live with us and be around us. You know what I'm saying? And we build some shit that they want to build and invest in business. But that's what people got to start realizing again about group economics and gaining equity, opposed to me just paying you $250 and waiting 2 weeks and all $350. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's about you seeing value in what we have, and we seeing value in your skill set. You do stuff for us, that shit gonna turn into business coming, and guess what? We don't get a dime off of that. But if we create a business together, nigga, you didn't have a business already, or it wasn't already forward. So let's do some business. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for everything. Even when people like when you reach out to be an ambassador, you know, it's like, yo, what's the title? What's the name of a certain single? Or what's the name of a certain area? How does our brand, you know, how are you bringing something to the table too, just to say, look, I want to work on this project. Is there something in the city that's non-profit? Just, you know what I mean? Just different stuff, you know what I mean? For it to start being beneficial to both sides to do business, not just wear clothes. That I know you can look nice in clothes. We want to build infrastructure for when you blow up. You know, we could have those cool stories like Martin Lawrence and them had about when they were working at Macy's and stuff. It's like,
Yep.
yo, you know, we used to be on Instagram Live, and then that turned into, you know, I'm gonna always promote your music. I promote all day. I just don't tag people.
Yeah.
That's how I know who tapping in with me. I do that shit purposely. I share people's shit all day, and if you catch it in the story, you catch it. But you gotta stay tapped in. But ain't no hate in me, man. That's just love. You know what I'm saying? If I see you working and you working on something, because I know how I feel to have somebody that's been in your life 25 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, and don't push your shit up at all. Go right past your shit. Don't like your shit. I try to balance that out. I'm a total stranger, so I try to share this shit every day. So where you can look at it as a blessing, like stop looking at that one person, look at this total stranger, or look at this person who is sharing my shit every day. Just little stuff like that, man, and, and stuff like that goes a long way, man.
It really does.
Everybody put that little bit of effort, you know, just to other people every day, and put the rest of the effort into yourself and really where you're trying to go. The balance would be so much better. The energy would be so much better. Another big thing, because I know what we got 4 minutes.
Yep, we got 4 minutes.
3 minutes down. But another big thing with self-worth that we didn't touch on, and I would love to keep touching on weekly as we do, is what you put in your body, man. Like, you cannot elevate to yourself.
Oh, we'll elaborate more on that next week.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
you can't say you living your best life, or you love yourself, or you value yourself, or you have these high standards when you sit there and deteriorate the standards one vice after another, one vice after another. So by the time you set your standards all the way to the sky, all the things that you've done, not even things that other people have done to you, things that you've done to yourself have brought you back down to ground level. And people need to start realizing that you got all these expectations, this heavy evaluating on people, and you're not even living up to that standard your own self. And that comes from, like, I just look at people, you know what I'm saying? Because being an observer is great for me. That's what I like. So for me not to speak on nothing, you know, I'll take in compliments. I'll take in people trying to approach me, and just male, female, business, personal, whatever it may be. But I'll watch, you know, how serious you are with your own life. And you cannot, you know, say, you know, you burning sage and you blocking these, you know, these spirits and bad energy, and you're putting bad spirits and bad energy into your own body. It's like, yo, I don't even gotta waste my time with that person. They're a little bit confused. I'll wait till they get it. Or we'll have a conversation. We won't even date at all, but let me just kick you some game and leave you some knowledge and just leave you where that was, because that's my contribution to your life. That's what I need to be there for. We ain't on the same level, but I could leave you something because we cross paths for a reason. So let me just. But what you saying ain't adding up, and I'm a big person on that. I like for whatever people kicking, especially on the gram or wherever. When I catch you in person, man, I like it to be that way, man. So it don't take a phantom for me, or you ain't got to rent a foreign car for me, man. You know, I'm a simple dude. We can have some garlic fries and plan and roll up.
Chill out, yeah.
And just really get shit done. I like getting things done. You know what I'm saying? That ignites me and that fuels my self-worth. So thank you, man. I just stressed it out a little bit on purpose just to put that out there. And have a great weekend. Continue to do what you do, man. Don't let the energy die. Keep being a blessing to others, man. Keep loving on yourself so you can get that love away.
Thank you so much, King. I'll talk to you next week. I'll talk to you soon before that, but we'll see you again next week.
For sure. Peace.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I like to end the show with some words, but this week we're going to end it with the weekly wrap-up. So tomorrow night you will not have Minority News because I'm finishing working on this album. But I do want to stress how much I'm thankful for the show, and I'm thankful for those who follow and watch this show. This show started off as just an idea to help be more proactive in a world and a community and a lifestyle right now where the world is going in a crazy place. And what it has done for the evolution of me as a man, as a person, as a human being, and as a spirit, I can never count and thank out. I want to thank Miss Liz Beloved. I want to thank Mr. Joe Sabez. I want to thank El Capitan, the ambassador. And I want to thank my great homie, Nick Velasco, who's over there in San Diego. I want to thank all of them from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity to be able to work with us and create this network. We're far from over. We're just getting started. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Have a great weekend. tune in tomorrow night for the first Shawty live performance in 6 months. Peace.